my darling of the night, how you pulled me from the light, calling me to lay.
Sunny Griffin has an amazing story to share. Back in the 60s, she was the first supermodel in the world. At one time, she was the highest paid model working in the world. She did some acting, started in a movie with Dustin Hoffman. She's been eating raw food for the last 40 plus years.
Hi, I'm Sunny Griffin, and I'm pretty proud to say I'm 70 years old. I'm really astounded in our civilization. 70 is everybody's definition of ancient, and I don't think it's ancient at all. I feel really, really fabulous. I've always been 5'8.5" tall until 2 years ago when I was in an automobile accident and my back was broken in multiple places, and now I'm about 1.5 inches shorter than that. And the last time I got on a scale, I weighed, I think, 123. Weight has always been a huge problem for me because of the line of work I was in. Back in the early 60s, I was a model. I was a photographer's model in the 60s and 70s. What they refer to today as a supermodel. And you have to be thin. And so I have always been concerned with weight because I come from a family of obese people. Everyone in my family has huge weight challenges. And confident that my mother will never see this, she is 5 feet tall and weighs 185 pounds. And my brothers are all very, very large. So fighting the genetic tendency to get fat was a real challenge for me and always has been. When I started off modeling, I didn't have a lot of money. And I had almost no money until I made it big. And I ate incredibly poorly. For a while I was living on donuts that I could get in the New York City subway because I could eat for about 10 cents a day. This is in 62, 63. And I got sick. I had trench mouth. I had terrible things wrong with me. And I realized that, and then I got very, very busy very quickly in the business, and there's no time to eat. So I had to find a kind of food that I could carry with me in my model bag. And it turned out to be carrot sticks and celery sticks and sliced up apples, and anything that was just fresh and raw I would carry around in my model bag. I could eat it in cabs between bookings during the day, and I felt great. I stayed thin, and I had a lot of nutrition. This was long before I had the faintest idea what raw food was about. I also had lots of nuts. I would always have bags of walnuts and almonds and things like that. Things that are portable. And as in later years, I've done a lot of traveling in the work that I've done, and I always have to take my food with me, and it's so easy that raw food is quite portable. If you have the slightest reputation of being sickly, you're not going to be booked again. I mean, think of the beautiful models that you know today. I mean, look at Gisele Bündchen. She's the highest paid model in the world today, and she's just the epitome of wonderful health. You see pictures of her, playing volleyball on the beach in Brazil, and Christy Brinkley. You think of the names of these girls that are Cheryl Teagues, that are wonderfully healthy looking because they are healthy, because they eat really well. In fact, a supermodel named Carol Alt has written 2 books on raw foods. Carol really had health challenges and wasn't feeling well, and it was quite difficult for her, and she tells her story in her books about how she went 100% raw and is to this day. If a young girl wants to be a model today, the first thing that's most important is to find a good modeling agent. They also, you have to be realistic. No matter when someone photographs you, you look good in that picture, that's a good sign. You also have to be tall, and you have to be healthy and fit, and those things are really, really important. I have had young girls come see me, and they're 5'11" and 118 pounds, and everything's great, and rampant acne on their face. That's not going to work. You need to clean up your diet, clean up your life, and most importantly, find a good modeling agent. And don't go to modeling schools. When modeling schools can teach you to be tall, and when they can teach you to have wide-set eyes, then they'll be valid. But the things that it takes to be a top model can't be taught. They're born. My husband and I live most of the year in Telluride, Colorado, at 9,000 feet altitude. Now that's serious up there. And when I first moved up there, I couldn't sleep through the night. My skin was so dry, it kept me awake at night. I would wake up with parched skin, and I would just put more and more whatever skincare product I could find on it, and nothing worked. And I thought, well, if this raw food paradigm works in nutrition, why wouldn't it work in skincare? In fact, now I have a saying that if you wouldn't want to eat it, why would you want to smear it on your face? All the skincare products that were in the market at that time were filled with chemicals. and they kind of created a need for themselves. They didn't nurture the skin. Botanical skincare has recently become quite popular. When I say recently, in the last 10 or 15 years, we're all about botanicals, but they boil them. I mean, there are wonderful companies out there that only harvest in the right moonlight, whatever, and you can't use a cell phone in their fields while they're growing them. Then they put them in a pot and boil them and kill all the enzymes. And it's the enzymes that are so healing to our skin. So I started a skincare line made of raw botanicals. We don't heat anything above 105 degrees in formulation so that the enzymes are alive and they can help regenerate your skin. And I will tell you that I have had people come up to me, friends that I haven't seen in 10 or 15 years, and say, oh, did you have a facelift, or did you have a laser, or what, dermabrasion, or those things? No, I didn't. I have not had any of those things. I use skincare products that are made of raw botanicals that help my skin regenerate itself. And it's so fun because when other people talk about them or other people use them, I get all these letters and people calling. I can't believe the difference it made to my skin. So Astara Skincare today is sold primarily in spas, in top spas all around the United States, and we're in Canada, Mexico, England, lots of countries now. Skin is critically important in modeling. People say, oh, they can retouch that out. Well, you know what? No, they can't. I mean, maybe they could, but they don't. They photograph models because they're extremely photogenic and they have to look good. And I used to look at girls like, Iman was one. I would look at her and say, Iman looks like she swallowed a light bulb. Her skin just glows from within. And that's what health is all about. And it has to do with, caring for your health, fitness. I am an absolute fitness freak. And I also have a saying that I really like to say, that if you want to look good in your 70s and 80s, start young. Start in your 20s. It's like saving for retirement. It's a whole lot easier to look better, to look good if you've been doing it your whole life. Exercise is important because our circulation is so important. I find yoga wonderful for me and very, very important. I still take ballet class. At 70 years old, I'm in ballet class with 12-year-olds. I know it's bizarre, but I am.
Oh, my darling of the night, how you pull me from the light, calling me to lay down by your side. Oh, my darling of the night, though I knew you weren't right, still I'd do whatever you decide. 'Cause you're